Yes, welcome to the Cavalry.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Johnny, how's it going?
Oh, it's going fantastic.
You're in the control room.
I'm in the control room. Everyone is frozen behind me. They're all stunned with what they saw last night. Or 2 weeks ago, I should say.
2 weeks ago, yeah. We can give you hot debate analysis that's 2 weeks late.
Right.
We've really studied the tape. We've watched it over and over and over again. And we're starting to decipher some sentences.
Yeah. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good, man. We're the weather's better here in Portland, like the smoke is gone. We can breathe the clean air. Just got back from Montana. We drove to Montana to visit with my wife's mom. It was beautiful. Stopped in Idaho where just you would never know there's a pandemic. Just Idaho. I love this whole thing where
They're ignoring it.
just huge swaths of the country. Just like you wouldn't even just pretend it's not happening. It's a whole it must be bliss. I was thinking about it. It just must be so nice to just assume that it's all fine and you're not going to catch this horrible disease.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder what my attitude would be, because my attitude is definitely affected by the fact that I have 3 children and a very aware wife, a very precautious wife.
Right.
And I feel like if I was single, I would be more risk-taking. Yeah, exactly. I'd be more, whatever. If I get sick, who cares, Right,
because you think to yourself, oh, well, my odds of surviving this are very high. I'm not a lot of risk factors. Although you have a crazy heart disease, so maybe you should take it easy.
Well, if I didn't have my family, I wouldn't have seen the doctor and I wouldn't have known that. So
oh, good point. Then you'd be fine. If you just hadn't gone to the doctor, you wouldn't have this heart problem.
Yeah. If I never met my wife, who knows? Maybe I'd still be on the floor in the bathroom fainted. Who knows?
Yeah, and then that's the best place to be.
Oh God, I know that's the
eternal bliss. Death. What's better than that?
Eternal peace.
The ultimate slumber. Well, no. So so we can just get in. Actually, this is great because it kind of leads me into one of my topics that I need backup on.
Let's do it.
So my wife and I literally had this conversation, and I was like, because she's pregnant, and so obviously we're being extra careful.
And there it is.
Yeah, I had to jam it in. It's actually going to be, I'm going to use it for both of mine today, but a little teaser for my next one.
I'm going to get you a little cake and just bring it out each episode when it comes up.
But see, this is such bullshit because you were the one who says you like talking about your kids, and you were worried that if you talk about your kids too much, it's like hacking.
No, I'm not. I'm not giving you a hard time about talking about it. I just like to tease you because it sounds like you're making the announcement each episode.
Oh yeah.
I have some exciting news. My wife is pregnant.
I'm just trying to get more gifts. I've also noticed. Okay, here's a little tidbit too for anybody. Always slip it into a show. We do all these virtual shows. If you're struggling in the least, just, oh, my wife's pregnant, and boom, instant, people are rooting for you because they're like, this poor bastard, he's trying to do comedy over the computer. This kid's going to need all the help he can get. Let's hope that things pick up for him or whatever. So
and live shows, it's great for merch.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. Well, and then I was going to say on these virtual shows, I did them before without mentioning anything about a kid. And they put your Venmo. That's how these virtual shows work. Then they'll say, okay, here's their Venmo. And if you want to tip them or something, and crickets. But with the kid, very generous Venmo down. People love giving you Venmo. So even if you don't have a kid on the way, you should just assume that you do and say that.
All comedians will have pregnant wives now.
Yeah, knock up those wives and girlfriends, fellas, if you want the Venmo train to come into the station, but
just say you did.
Yeah. You can just lie. No one checks. But so I was, same thing. So we're obviously, I think I'm more careful than I would be otherwise. If I was a single dude, even though you want to be careful anyway, because you can pass it on to other people.
Right.
So there's a reason to be careful, even if you're single, but whatever. So we were coming back from Montana. We stop in Idaho. My wife goes into this gas station to use the bathroom. And it's very crowded. It's like one of those town pumps. So it's like a big kind of store, gas station bathroom place. And just literally not one person in the entire place, like of like 40, 50 people, not one person wearing a mask. Just not one. They're standing in line, shoulder to shoulder, not one mask indoors. And she comes out and she's all pissed off. And it's like, these idiots, what is wrong with them? What are they? And I'm like, well, as much as I want to blame them, like they live in a state where the governor tells them it's fine to do this. Like there's no mask mandate in Idaho. No one's telling them. The president says they don't have to wear the mask. The governor says they don't have to wear a mask. Everything's open. Like it's like not safe to go to the gym, right? But the gym is open. So which one is it? Is it safe to go? Like it's like, so you get this conflicting information. So it's like, I don't really blame the people as much as my wife does. I'm a man of the people.
So that's what you want back up on, that it's not the
what I want
fault?
back up on is like, it's like I'm cutting people as much as I wear the mask and I think everyone should wear a mask. I'm cutting the people who don't a little bit of slack because if you live in a state where like literally your governor tells you don't have to do this, it'd be very confusing,
Yeah.
at the very least.
No, yeah, I agree. But I mean, both you and I do not live in those situations. But Nebraska, because I'll go visit Omaha, and they don't. In fact, I forget his name, Ricketts or something. He like said any company that forces it, I don't know if it's company or whatever, any organization that forces masks will not receive any funding.
I like that. Oh, okay. I'm not taking health advice from a guy named Ricketts. You know what I mean?
I think I might even be wrong. I think that's his name.
Governor Polio says I don't have to wear a seatbelt.
Right.
I don't know. Governor HIV positive told me.
He says condoms are a hoax.
Condoms are a hoax. That's the perfect. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. Condoms are the perfect analogy because I saw someone on Twitter or something was talking about like glasses and glasses are a hoax or whatever, like trying to tell you why would you think glasses are needed but not masks. But condoms is the perfect one because it's like, sexually transmitted diseases are like this invisible enemy that, that you could be persuaded to believe aren't real. Like, I don't know anybody with syphilis. I don't think it exists. Right. But everybody's still scared enough to wear condoms. So that is the good.
Why would he say, I don't know, the glasses? I mean, if you need glasses, you're bumping into walls and poles if you're not wearing your glasses. It's pretty obvious that's real. That guy's an idiot.
Well, he was trying to make a point. But yes, okay. But condoms, that's a good analogy. There should be they should figure out how they got people to wear condoms and do the same thing for the masks.
Yeah.
Put them in vending machines.
Hand them out at
CD
school.
Bathrooms. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is me and my wife had a little philosophical disagreement where she's like, well, there's just so much information, even if you live in like Idaho, right?
Yeah.
And you're still able to see the same news stories and scientific reports or whatever about the virus. You should be at least educated enough to wear the mask. And then again, just to like, I think you should, but if you live in like rural Idaho and your governor says you don't have to do it and none of your friends are doing it and you go to the town pump and you're just going to be the one guy in there putting the mask on, that takes a ball. Like you don't want to, it's like peer pressure works both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I back you up.
Okay. You're with me?
I back you up.
Again, so, I'm not saying obviously everyone should wear a mask. I'm just trying to.
But you're just saying that it's not these people saying, screw you, it's a hoax. They're
sheep. They need leadership. Right. Everybody needs leadership.
And their leadership.
It's like this gym thing. I'm telling you, it's so funny because even in Portland, very liberal place, right? They believe in science. But like 24-hour fitness is open. They still charge me every month, even though it's like a death sentence to walk in there.
Right.
But they're like, yeah, come on in to 24. Well, I'm like, which one is it? Is it safe or not? You know?
Can you cancel and then just sign up later, or is there a penalty?
No, because
or...
gyms, there's like a year-long contract.
yeah.
So there's for a while there, they were saying, oh, we're still charging you every month, but it's putting it toward like months at the end of your, like some bullshit like that. Like, yeah, whatever. I mean,
We're still charging you, but it's just for what you can't use.
2021, when you're still not going to want to use this.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just saying that I can see it from, again, I'm a man of the people, and these people are sheep, and they need leadership. Yeah. We all need leadership from our elected officials. And so if a mask works, they would logically assume, surely my governor would not tell me not to wear a mask if a mask is good for my health, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's right. The least you would expect from your public officials.
Well, all right. That leads me very smoothly into what I need backup on. Right. So I am going to vote for Trump and my wife is going to vote for Biden. Will you back me up? Oh.
Can you imagine? I actually know a guy who
I love it how we're doing a podcast and that's like, you know what? There's a guy that supports the guy that won.
No, I know a guy who's, I'm pretty sure he's like a liberal guy, or at least he's going to vote for a Democrat 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But then his wife is a Trump supporter. Can you imagine being in a relationship like that? It must be hell every day.
Oh God. You know what? Today, I cannot imagine. Ridiculous. I feel like 8, 12, whatever, like in the past,
right,
when politics was just a background, whatever but now it's like, I mean, that's got to be 50% of the day. 50% of people's thoughts is, oh, what political crap is being blown in my face?
Every day there's like 10 things that they're going to fight about.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Real or otherwise. Like, you're right. Like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I could imagine like staying in a relationship with somebody who was like a Republican. We had different views on like taxes and things. But then when Trump came around, then they're like, well, I can't vote for him, obviously. So that like that, I could see some like, okay, we can work through that or whatever. But just this flat out Trump supporter and someone who's not, like, what do you even talk about? Everything,
right?
Because everything gets affected, like every part. Sports are affected by like it's like filtered into
and going out in public with other people. It's like, oh dear Jesus, please don't let politics come up at this dinner party. They're both embarrassed of the other.
Right. Yeah. You can't, you can't like hang out with people. It is like astonishing. So
if you're in one of those couples, please write in. We would love to hear how.
Let us tell your story.
Yes.
I am fascinated. It'd be a great reality show to just see them at each other's throats. Maybe it's the ultimate like relationship though, in a way, because all you do is fight about that, and then you have no energy to fight about anything else.
You just have makeup sex every single day.
Constantly. Every like 4 hours.
Constant makeup sex.
Makeup sex.
Constantly putting bumper stickers on the other person's car.
Yeah.
All right. That's not my real one. All right. So I want to introduce a new segment called Mid-Show Banter. This is something I noticed. This is not my topic, but I noticed I'm listening to a podcast today. This is my pod. You've done 2 or 3 other podcasts before this, and you have another one.
Yeah, 2.
So you're a vet. You're an old vet. Maybe you can help. But I mean, this is a great podcast. I think we have a fantastic podcast. It's solid quality. You're welcome. I'm listening to another podcast.
I'm taking full credit for that compliment. I'm not even including you at all. No, thank you. Yes, I've done a great job making this podcast. Yes, very good.
I'm listening to I won't say what it is. I mean, it's great. One of Tig Notaro's podcast, and she's got a bunch, I guess. But I'm listening to it. At the end, and I typed it out. I'm reading. This is what she says. Hey, if you like the show, whatever. The show is hosted by Tig Notaro, produced by names 3 people. The editor is so and so. Executive producer, engineering and sound mixing by, digital production by, talent booking by, theme music by, special thanks to. And then she says 2 more people are executive consultants. And then it's, this has been a production of American Public Media. Like, what? Isn't it? I mean, how different? I get that she's a celebrity, but she's
Right.
still recording audio onto a thing, which is what we're doing. What is a digital production executive? I just don't understand what all of that. That sounded like the ending credits to a movie.
No, well, that's the thing. That's like where it's like once you get money involved, and then it's like people are like, well, I want a piece of this pie. You know what I mean? And so you start to carve out jobs for yourself. It's like, well, I take the audio and I split it into 2, and then I adjust it and I put it back together. And it's like, you didn't need to do that.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, why isn't Tig like, hey, everyone, you can all go home. I will just do this with my buddy. I get,
I don't know.
sound mixing, whatever. People have ears that are like, I don't know. I can hear the wind during that podcast. That's low production. Whatever, you snobby people. But like, I don't know. Executive consultant.
Do you remember, so we both lived in LA for a while, and do you remember the first time you did like anything that was like official show business, where it was like an actual production where they had like union people around?
Yeah.
Remember what that was like?
I don't know if I did much of that while I was in LA, but like before that, like when I would go to either LA or New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that and just being blown away by how many people it would take to make like something so, like, you watch a commercial on TV and it's like a guy flipping pancakes and his wife comes in and says, hey, we need a new boat, and they're like, get a boat, and then that's the whole commercial, right? And it takes weeks to do that. Someone has to like rent the house that they shoot in, and they had like 9 finalists of a kitchen that in that kitchen it was whittled down to 3, and then 2 people's job was to decide which of those 3. I mean, it is amazing how complicated they make everything and like how hard it is. And I think this coronavirus has kind of shown like everyone's just kind of winging it on their own, and they're like, yeah, we kind of make this harder than it has to be. A lot of this shit you can just do from your house, Yeah. I am interested to see. So that's funny that like now that's like slipping into podcasts, because podcasts started out as like the simplest thing ever. And of course they're going to get more and more and more complicated, and all celebrities have podcasts now.
Yeah. And that's the thing is primarily audio. I mean, we've got a big crew. We got Benny and your producer over
Paula,
there, Paula, for the YouTube aspect, but like, it's audio. It's all, if your audio is good,
get a microphone, and especially with like as the technology improves, like I wouldn't have never thought that you could be in, where the hell are you? Wisconsin. And I could be in Oregon, and we could just kind of seamlessly do a podcast. I would have thought that would have been really complicated, or that would take a lot of equipment up until like a year ago. Right.
Yeah.
But it's so freaking easy. This is so easy to do. Anyone can do this.
If you're listening to
and
this,
anyone does,
put down your phone and make your own. Start
a damn podcast. America needs you. We need more podcasts. More. Yeah,
especially if you're a middle-aged white guy.
Yes, we need more of those for sure. And also the food situation in every production. There's like an amazing food spread, snacks, because there's the meals, but that's like separate from like the craft service table, and then there's like all these. I remember the first time I had like any like real job in like a TV or anything, I was like kind of like blogging for this show, not quite like a full throated writer, but So I was like
Yeah.
on the lowest rung of the creative totem pole that you could possibly be. And I was in the office so every day, and they would have like someone come in and ask you for your lunch order at some point, but you had to pay for it, you know? And so I
Mhm.
was doing that for a while, but then I started going into this kitchen and they had all these like just snacks that were free in the kitchen. And so I stopped ordering the lunch, and I would just go in and make these like elaborate lunches out of the snack food. So I'd take a
Yeah.
bagel, and they had pesto, and they had cheese, and I'd like melt the cheese in the toaster oven and make like a toasted cheese bagel and like chips and a soda and like this big plate. And everyone's like would look at me weird, and I didn't understand why. Because you're not supposed to like make a full meal out of these
Right.
kitchen items. You're supposed to go in there if like you need a snack or something. I
That
didn't
sounds
quite
pretty
understand
good.
that.
Pesto
Yeah,
cheese
actually,
bagel.
I would make that a lot. But it's just, yeah, the money that goes into these things is incredible. And then you go, okay, so they spend like millions of dollars to make some prestige pilot television show. But then some kid in Nebraska makes a TikTok that gets viewed like
Right.
14 billion times, and when more people will have seen that than will have ever seen that TV show. So you do wonder, like, what is anybody doing?
Yeah. Yeah. This industry is.
But I
a
agree with
a
you.
lot
It's
of
like,
fluff.
I think it's okay. I think it's cool that like Tig's podcast employs like 75 people. I think that's
Yeah.
great. That's great for the economy, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
and good for her. I just, yeah, when you have like, I don't know, like maybe we need that. Maybe we need some interns. Maybe that's what we
I
need.
think
Maybe we
so.
need
Some
more
unpaid, high quality.
workers.
So if you want to be an unpaid executive producer,
Also, that's such a vague, I love that term too. Like executive producer can just mean like anything. You
yeah,
know,
I literally don't know what it means. I just assume it means here's,
money.
$100. I want this percentage of what comes from this podcast.
Right.
Like an investor. Is it an executive producer just an investor?
Exactly. Like there's no Oscar for best producer.
Right.
You know?
Best executive producer.
Best investor in a foreign film. He shelled out the most money without asking any questions.
Yep. And that was mid-show banter.
Mid-show banter, huge success. Talking shit
That
about
was-
other
that was.
podcasts. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to start a beef with the Tig Notaro podcast. That would
Right.
give us some traction.
All right, so this is my real one. Okay.
Oh.
I don't have to do two since we did mid-show banter. We'll see where we're at time-wise later. But this is mine. So I want to ask you, and then we'll just see, as opposed to saying my thing and seeing if you could back me up. Let's say you go to Target and you buy a bunch of crap. And you get out, you walk out as you're walking out. Well, this at what point when you're walking out or when you get home, at what point is it too late to realize, oh, they didn't ring up this lamp that was on the bottom of the cart? At what point are you responsible for going back into Target and paying?
As they're
for
ringing it up.
What?
As they're ringing.
Like once
At
you
the
walk
checkout.
past, it's on them, right?
No, I mean, I'm saying at the checkout stand.
At the
Like, if
checkout
they don't-
stand, what?
If I see it and they don't see it, hey, that's they price in that loss, you know.
You're
They got some of that into the budget.
I'm gonna start shopping. I'm gonna start just putting everything on the bottom, throw a candy
yeah.
bar on top, and just be like,
That happened. I was with my mother-in-law. We were at the little grocery store in Thompson Falls, Montana, and I put something on the bottom of the cart or whatever, and I didn't. I forgot. I honestly forgot that it was there.
Yeah.
And the person checking this out would have never seen it in a million years. And then I think my mother-in-law actually pointed to it. And
At
then
what
I was
point?
like at the end, like before we had rung up.
Oh, okay.
But then it really did make me look like I was trying to steal it. I go, oh yeah, oh boy, I can't believe it. I forgot
But you really did.
how that really expensive item got down on the bottom there. Wow.
Yeah.
But okay, so but tell me, I mean, I actually think that my honest opinion, because let's be real here, I actually think you should say something, but after you've gotten the receipt, I don't know. It's over.
Yeah.
Because then you have plausible deniability.
I think what?
Well, then you have plausible deniability because then you can just walk and then, like, let's say it's like Costco and they look at the receipt and they check stuff, and if they see something, you go, "Oh, I didn't know they didn't ring it up. I just
right.
I gave them my card and I wasn't paying attention." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just mean I mean I don't know. I don't mean like from a courtroom legal standpoint. I mean like what's the right? Obviously,
and
obviously you're not supposed to. If you see it, you're not supposed to hope they don't see it. Right. But what brought this up was we get home. Well, my wife went shopping and she comes in. She was like, "I don't think we paid for the lamp, or I don't think." She was all by herself, but it wasn't until I don't know when she realized it. But it made me think there was a time where we went shopping at outlet malls, and we were at the car, and they didn't charge us for a pair of Birkenstocks or something, $100 sandals or however much they are.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there trying to convince each other. We're trying to alleviate each other's conscience that we should just drive off. That there's no way we're not supposed to go back in and point out that they didn't charge us for these $100 sandals, even though we're in the parking lot. It's right there. We know what happened.
No, okay. So I think some of this is how much is the item cost, right? Like if it's like a $5 bag of carrots or something and they forgot to ring it up, it's like, I'm not going to go back.
I'm not going to spend $5 on gas to go.
Right. Now, if it's like a $1,500 TV and you're going through Best Buy and they just didn't see it on the bottom, I mean, if you're in the parking lot, I don't know. I'm feeling a little guilty, but then also another half of that is you're like, shit, I just got a free TV.
I know it makes it even harder because you're saving that much more money.
So I think like the perfect item for me to return is something that's like between $100 and like $200, because I go, yeah, that's substantial. I should probably go pay for that, but it's not so valuable that I'm like, God damn, I got a free, what I mean?
All right, so let me give you two.
There's a range there.
Let's say it's a $68 lamp, and let's say it looks kind of like that lamp over there.
Wow. Okay.
Hypothetically
speaking, of course.
So that's the first item, and that's $68. Okay, and the second item, let's say hypothetically, is a pair of $110 Birkenstocks. So the lamp, would you do that? The lamp, you're home and you find it in your car.
Oh, no, if I'm home, it's over.
Okay, no matter what. Even
I don't care what it is.
All right, you're in the parking lot.
I'll feel bad, and I'll try to do something good in the world. And also, if it's a big chain,
that's all Target wants. That's all Target wants.
Right. Target just wants us to help out our fellow man. No, but pay it forward is Target's motto. Steal from us.
And then mow your neighbor's yard.
But that is a component too. Like if it's a mom and pop hardware store, I feel way guiltier than if it's
that's true. That's a good
Target.
Good point.
I mean, they're fine. Let's be honest. Target's fine. They're not. I don't think their stock price is going to dip when this episode comes out. Because like, oh my God, Target's down a $68 lamp in Madison. Yeah. I don't think they're going to survive. So if you're home, 100%, no, I'm never going back.
Okay. You're in the parking lot, putting it from the cart into the trunk of your car.
I mean, I would like to think that I would, if I'm still in the parking lot, I would like to think that I would go pay for it, but I'm not sure that I would.
Okay.
How
All
far?
right,
Like, is it a
same
parking
for the shoes?
garage? What's that?
Same for the shoes, the sandals. $60,
Uh,
110.
yes. No, same thing. I think.
Yeah.
Can you see the door, or is it like a parking garage where like multiple levels?
No, it's pretty close. You're just walking out. You're by the cart corral.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
Because there is something about it too where you don't want to do it because it's embarrassing. Because you're like, I don't want. They're gonna think that I was stealing it.
no, see, why would they think it's stealing if you go back and pay?
Well, that's a good point.
Because
like,
I don't know what it was, but there have been, it was probably a candy bar or something that I could afford. And I was like, you know what? I am going to go. And you feel, oh my God, I felt like Jesus Christ for like 2 days straight. I felt like I got a one-way
Yeah.
ticket to heaven. You see that? I could have had this candy bar. I went back and paid for it. I was outside the store and I went back and paid for it. Somebody blow me right now.
I don't know if I get much from it, honestly. I think I get like a high. This is probably why I'm like evil or something. Part of me like likes the game of like when they would do the self checkout at Ralph's or whatever,
Mhm.
and then I would like if you could like kind of do the weight difference on like when they were tearing the scale and they could tell if you had like whatever it would say. You would put in carrots. But then you really have like organic mushrooms. It's just like some little scam like that. Save yourself a couple bucks. Like I kind of like the idea of like, ooh, let's see what I can get away with,
Yeah. Oh, that I don't feel guilty about that at all. You know what I do? I go to because my wife makes me buy all organic shit. So I'll buy organic shit, but I'll go to the other section because it's the pick and save, and I'll get the bags because the bags are a different color for organic and non-organic. And I just assume it's some idiot kid. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I don't even know the difference between a potato and a carrot, let alone what's organic and what's not. So that's,
Yeah.
Plus the self-checkout, that infuriates me. I don't like that.
I know. I try to avoid it now because my stealing days are over. The risk reward is not worth it anymore. The humiliation of ever being caught is much worse than whatever I'm saving. But because it is infuriating when the machine's like mad at you for doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And
then you gotta wait and have them come over because it freezes up and there's a red light and you're like, what is this really
faster? Is this more efficient?
I'm doing this.
To answer your question, the truth of the matter is once you're out of the building, it takes a lot to go in and it's because it's just the hassle of it. And you weren't actively stealing in your heart, you weren't trying to rob this place. To me,
now I see. I at the self checkout, I feel like that's not.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, that's different.
We're robbing.
Yeah, that's a game. It's an understood, unspoken game. See what you can get away with stealing.
Yeah, they know that that's the game. They set it up that way. That's what they want. They want you to try and steal. That's part of it. They encourage it. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But I for sure, I think the biggest, now that I'm talking it out and thinking about it, because this is a very fascinating ethics question, but I think to me, the biggest determining factor is the establishment itself. Like if it's like Walmart or something, like rob them blind, try to do whatever you can, bring a gun, stick up the place, you're fine. Right. But if it's like some small, like struggling, vegan cupcake stand or whatever, you're like, try to pay them the money that they're owed.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm putting it.
All right.
So I think
good. We're on the same page.
Because it's from Target. Targets can sweat. Target's fine. You don't have to worry about. Don't stay up tonight worrying about Target. They're gonna be all right. I promise you. Okay.
All right. So, what do you got? We're on the same page. We're clearly on the
this
same
one's
page.
exciting. This one's really exciting.
Okay.
So I got some big news. My wife and I are having a baby.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations, Andrew.
So
I'm
my
get
Venmo
you a blanket with our old logo
is at Andrew-Slater. No, so we had to, the big thing this week was get a pediatrician, because you need to have, we were told, a pediatrician for your baby before she comes, so that when you're at the hospital, they can like schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
And we've had like this nightmare health insurance situation with my wife, because she got laid off, right before she got pregnant. So we had to get the Obamacare. And then it was like, the insurance, we tried to get the best one we could because we knew this was happening. So we did, but then she's on, so she gets to see these doctors, but then she can never see the same doctor. And then they tell her like a month ago, oh, actually, we don't deliver at this hospital by your house, so you need to get a new doctor. And then we try to get new doctors, and they are like, well, we don't accept new patients. We've talked about this before, but like somehow like no health insurance or hospital, no one's making any money in a pandemic. I don't understand it. Like, this should be a gold rush for you guys, but whatever. So you can't get a doctor, you can't get into hospital, your insurance doesn't work anywhere, or if it does, it works at like the hospital like 25 miles away. And so it's been like, and it's always that way, right? Like, I don't know how, if you've had luck with your health insurance, but for me, it's the same thing. It's like, there's always some fiasco, or they won't cover it or whatever. So I'm going into, when I go to find this pediatrician, I'm like getting ready for battle. Like, when you're like, you're going to make a phone call, I'm putting on my armor, I'm getting ready to get mad and get frustrated or whatever, because I just know it's always a fight.
It's like when I'm about to call Menards. I hear you.
Right. Yeah. Menards. They're ruthless. Right. So I call this one by our house, this pediatric, just the closest one to our house, because that's how we judge childcare for our baby. It's just what proximity is literally the closest to our house. They must be the best doctors if it's the closest. And we call this place, and they're like, and I'm like, hey, I don't want any bullshit. That's how I start. No, I didn't really say that. Well, I was like, hey, I don't want any shit from you. My wife's pregnant. We need a doctor for this kid. No, but I come in a little, not hot, but I just try to be assertive.
Hello, Bergen Mercy. Listen, bitch.
I knocked up my wife. We need a doc. I don't want any shit from you. I don't want to hear any of that shit. You won't cover it. Copay shit. Just do it for free.
Fuck you, shit. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I was like. No, but so I call, and again, I'm expecting a lot of resistance, right?
Right.
Couldn't have been more opposite. They're like, oh, congratulations. She had all the time in the world to talk to me. She's like, oh, how long has she been Oh, I had a baby 5 months ago. It was so nice. Yeah, like all of our doctors are accepting new patients. So you can go to our website. We have headshots of every doctor. We have bios that we have, what their talents are, like all this stuff. You can pick them by the picture, and they're all great. Juggles. And they would all love to take care of your baby. And I was like, well, okay, but we have shit insurance. Which insurance do you? We take every insurance. We're not worried about it. Like, it was like the opposite of the experience for adults. And so this is what I'm curious, because you have kids, so you've been through this, but I kind of have a theory, like, we treat kids so much better in society than we do adults.
Uh-huh.
And I think like the whole healthcare system is like so deferential to kids that's why we can't see doctors as adults, because we're putting all our resources into these damn kids. So if I were like advertising like what I think, because everyone's like, what should you do with healthcare? America's system needs an overhaul. We need Medicare for all, or we need a public option. Here's my pitch. And so this is what I need backup on. Pediatricians for all. How about that? Everybody should get a pediatrician as their doctor. And you should get, if you get sick, you go to a children's hospital, not like one of these bullshit the children's hospital where they have the clowns and the video games and celebrities come visit you. Everything for kids is so much better healthcare wise than for adults. And it should be that way through your whole life.
Oh, I think that's great. I think that's a gold mine. Who gets hurt by that? Just people that have studied geriatrics all their life to become.
Yeah. Old man doctors, you're out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, that we do like yeah, there's like a point where it flips, right? We value young people. Kids are like important and precious. Then you turn
Mhm.
like 18 and we're like,
Yeah,
hey,
fuck you.
go die somewhere. We don't care. But if you make it to like 80, then it's like, oh, take care of the 80. You get in the lifeboat first. So it's like
Yeah.
everything flips again. You just have to make it to like 80. Between 18 and 80, you can eat shit and die, right? But any of
Right.
those other ages, society's really precious about it.
Ooh, I like it. So
That's more of a theory. But what I'm really saying is, well, let me ask you a question. Have you noticed that with your kids where it's just way easier to get them into doctors and get them covered for appointments and all that stuff than for you as an adult?
well, I see it's hard to answer that because I really I don't take care of myself very well at all. I haven't tried to see a doctor. The doctor I saw, I like when I had that heart thing, I was like, oh God, I gotta start from scratch. I never saw a
Right.
doctor before that. And like, I'm under my wife's insurance because she has a jobby job. And like, I just kind of look at it like,
Job.
well, if I,
Job.
as
I
opposed
mean, she's not a full-time podcaster. She has one of those jobby
the jobby
jobs.
jobs. But like, I just was like, if I fall out of a tree and my, head falls off, I'm covered. But, I'm not big on it's been 6 months. I better go get a thumb up my butt, So
Right.
I don't know. I'm a bad judge because and I don't care. I'm too lazy to do research. Literally, I go to the website, like, oh, you got to pick your doctor. I'm like, boom, this guy,
Yeah. Here's how we picked the pediatricians you could pick. There was like 9 of them at this place, and they all had pictures, headshots, like very professional headshots.
Yeah.
And none of them were like holding a microphone. I was going to roll those out immediately. If they're like on stage at an open mic or something, I'm like, not picking those. But no, they were all like nice headshots and good bios and all this stuff. But I went by the picture, and there was like this kind of older woman that both my wife and I are immediately like, yeah, her. She seems like wise, But then she only works like 2 days a week. So like, I don't know if I want that. There were like 3 dudes.
Is this for the kid? Is this for the baby or for
the baby?
Guys?
I don't care about me. I don't.
Right.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. As an adult, you can't even see the same doctor twice if you want to. You just show up and you hope the person you see is like somewhat familiar with medicine. Like they've seen ER a couple times or something. Right.
That's what you hope for.
Yeah, that's what you hope for. No, but for the kid, we had the pick of the litter. We had any doctor we wanted, and it was like, I ended up picking this one because she was like, I don't know how to put this without being like too offensive or anything.
She
looked like she was
giant rack.
No. Opposite of that. She looked like she put all her energy into her studies. I mean, not focused on outwardly appearance. Not maybe she didn't have the latest hair. Some of these doctors had like really nice haircuts and took care of themselves. This doctor, she was hitting the books. You could tell all the time, and so that was my pick.
Let's see, where is the most homely looking doctor? You are probably a big nerd. Please work on my kid.
That was literally my thought process. So
that's smart. I don't know. As far as our kid, like, we've had pretty good pediatricians, and it hasn't been much of a. Yeah, I think it has been harder to find one for myself, but as soon as I find one that has availability, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to go scrolling through.
But you haven't had any problems with it. Well, and then, like I said, you guys probably have good health insurance, and so
we've had both. We have really good now in Madison. In LA, we had good and bad. One of our, oh my gosh, when she was pregnant with our third, we had some weird like insurance, and like we only could go to certain spots. We went to this place. No, they most of them didn't speak English, and it was like, the side of the building was in a strip mall. The side of the
Oh
building was
yeah.
all spray painted. It smelled like cigarette smoke in the waiting. It was like, please, dear God, this is not where I want my baby to come out. Oh my
I
God.
remember the first time, and see, it's funny because you're talking about LA and you say no one spoke English and people assume that means Spanish. But the first time I got to Obamacare and went to the doctor in LA, everybody spoke Russian. It wasn't even, it wasn't, their second language wasn't even Spanish. It was Russian. And the doctor was like, I don't even know if he was a doctor, but he had this like, he was unbuttoned down to like his fourth button, and he had like this big gold medallion, and it stunk like cologne. And it was like, what is this place? Everybody looks like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons, It was it was very interesting. But so anyway, my overall point is like, I think you're backing me up, or at least maybe you haven't had the same experience, but I'm telling you, society, I can tell immediately, we just treat kids way better than we treat adults. And we're all adults. Like, we're making the rules. Let's just treat adults as good as we do kids. And then that'll solve a lot of problems.
I think, I don't know. This is my theory behind that, is that we're hoping, okay, we got to make this world a better place. Let's do the next generation. Let's get them all happy, treat them well so that they'll be well adjusted. Oh, you're 18, it's too late. Fuck you. I don't care.
I like that. And that makes me think, I think what it is people inherently treat kids better, because in the back of our minds, we all know like someone's got to take care of me when I'm old. Right. So you're like, any young person you see, you're like, oh, you're a potential caregiver.
It's like subconsciously.
Subconsciously you see like an 8-year-old and you're like, I could see you bringing me my mush one day, at 5:15 and turning it to Jeopardy for me. Like I like,
right.
I better treat you good. Yeah. I think that's what's happening.
I like it.
Okay. Well, what do you think? You want to do one more?
Think?
Let's jam it in quick. I'm feeling good. So let's
jam it in quick. This is going to be the quickest one we've had.
Okay, perfect.
I was writing last night, or the other night, and I wrote like 3 pages on it, and I thought, you know what, this would be good because I'm not going to present it anywhere for a while. Right. Farts. Are they ever not funny? They are, right? Like, are they ever not funny?
I'm trying to imagine, because it's funny, because the first place your brain goes to is like the most serious situation, but that's what would make it the funniest.
Exactly.
If you fart at a funeral, it's super funny.
Hilarious.
If you fart during like a Supreme Court presentation.
The only loophole I could think is inaudible farts. That's the only exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Right?
Those are just a bummer.
It's irresponsible and it's a waste. Right?
So you actively try to make your inaudible farts audible so that someone can get some sort of joy about this gross thing that's happening.
Sure. I mean, if I'm just hanging out on the couch and I'm by myself, hey, then it's a roll of dice.
Yeah.
Then whatever. But if it's like, if my wife's around, of course you gotta loud it up. Right?
Do you ever supplement it with like a mouth, like try to really, like how they pump in fake crowd noise to these stadiums with no COVID crowds?
I couldn't tell by your face if you meant like make a fart with your mouth, or if you meant like really push it.
Bite your lip and push. No, I don't want you to get a hernia. I know you have no relationship with a doctor, so don't push too hard. No, I think what's funny is my wife is very, when we first met, she's got a great sense of humor. She's very funny. She's done stand up, but she would always tell me, she's like, bathroom humor, I just can't do it. Nothing no bathroom humor. I don't think it's funny or whatever. But then I've noticed every once in a while.
I don't know if I'd get along with your wife very well.
Well, I don't know if that's true because she has this like highbrowed idea about it, but then sometimes she'll just say the most obscene, gross shit out of nowhere, and then she'll just make herself laugh, and I'm like disgusted, you know. And she just thinks that, and I'm like, what happened to the no bathroom humor thing? She's like, oh well, this is different. This is shock humor. It's funny because I'm shocking you. I'm like, well, but that's everybody's bathroom humor, is
Right.
shock, you know, like. If you say like, I got diarrhea all over the couch, like that's shocking. That's shocking to people and disgusting, and also bathroom humor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
I want to know what she said. That was awful.
we should. Well, we'll bring her on. We'll bring her on, and she'll do her best hits.
She'll do her, her greatest bathroom
I'm
hits.
sure you will laugh at every single one.
I'm sure I will. Do you guys toot ski in front of each other?
No, and that because that's like, I mean, obviously we have. It's impossible not to get, especially during the quarantine. There's no way.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember like it's funny because you forget when you first start living with someone or sleeping over every night or whatever. I was single for so long, you know, when I first started doing stand-up.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a concept of what it was like to hold in a fart in bed. You know, when you're just sleeping in bed, you're just letting them fly and you never have to. And then it was so uncomfortable. Holding them in became so uncomfortable. And I would literally have to get up and go to the bathroom to fart because I was like, this is a nightmare. I'm going to get like intestinal problems.
Yeah.
And then you get a rhythm going or whatever. And then I would try to actively make them quiet. There's a technique I find to make, if you want to make them quiet, like you have to like, this is so gross. How did we get into this? We're going to cut all
Go on. You have to what?
I find if you want to make a fart quiet.
Inaudible?
Yes. Now, why would you ever want to do that would be your point. Just make it loud. It's
if you're
funny.
next to
People
someone
get
you're
joy.
newly dating.
Right. If you would like to do that, or on an airplane or something, I find that you try to let like a little out to like quietly open, and then like push out the rest of the air while there's an opening.
But
so there's no flapping.
But how do you open
I can't really describe it more than that. Obviously, you know, your farting is gonna open things up, right? Am I crazy here?
No, I know exactly what you're doing. I just want to hear you say it.
I'm getting embarrassed.
Oh no, I'll say
No.
it. You just pull your butt cheeks apart.
Yeah.
So that, there's no flapping. Is it the hole or the cheeks that make the noise? That's another thing I'm uncertain of.
Paula?
Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Benny?
No, we should bring on a scientist to answer.
I don't do it. What?
We should bring on our next guest will be a scientist who will answer two questions. What makes the fart sound? The hole or the ass cheeks? And does wearing masks actually help?
And we will talk about each for the same amount of time.
With the same level of seriousness. Okay.
Right.
Well, this has been the Cavalry. Thank you,
Thank
everybody,
you for tuning in.
For listening.
Leave a 5-star review, and we will.
I'll be surprised if you listen to this last episode. Leave a 5-star review, but we would appreciate it. And tell a friend, and we'll see you next time on
The Cavalry!